Red alert strobes flooded the Veleran flagship's bridge. Every screen screamed the same impossible verdict.
Admiral, life support now at 14 days. The nearest Veleran shipyard is 47 days away.
14 days for 8,000 souls because of a single failed stabilizer.
A signal cracked through. A Terran salvage ship offering assistance. The bridge crew turned toward their admiral.
Sir, a Terran vessel. They say they can stabilize our engines. Shall we respond?
Terrans. They can barely maintain their own freighters. We will not beg for scraps. No response.
The communication officer hesitated, then closed the channel. No one argued. Kalen did not tolerate argument. Outside, 12 Veleran capital ships drifted dead in the endless dark. Their engines silent, their crew counting the hours.
Pride will save us. It has always saved us. I will not be the admiral who crawled to the apes.
But the countdown never stopped. With or without pride, the air was going to run out. 9 days later, the life support readout flickered to 5 days. Across the fleet, the whispering started.
Admiral, the Star Core stabilizer is beyond our repair. If we do nothing, 8,000 will suffocate.
We are Veleran. We have survived worse. We will not beg the Terrans.
Sir, the crew is losing hope. Some are saying we should have accepted the Terran offer.
Mutiny whispers. And they are not wrong. If we die here, it is my command that killed us, Lieutenant Voss. Send the distress call. Do not mention my name. Just say the Veleran's 6th requests aid.
The Terran response was almost immediate. A single small vessel dropped out of warp, a repair tender named the Olivia.
Admiral, the Olivia is hailing. They say they have only one crew member, a mechanic.
One mechanic. They mock us. We need a repair ship, not a single Terran with a toolbox.
But there was no other offer. The Olivia docked, and Master Chief Anthony Reeves prepared to board. The airlock hissed open, revealing a human male in grease-stained coveralls. Over one shoulder hung a duffel, in his other hand, a chipped coffee thermos.
Master Chief Reeves, I am Chief Engineer Vex. We have prepared a detailed technical orientation. I must insist you review it before accessing the engine bay.
Appreciate the effort, but I've already studied your Star Core schematics. I know where the stabilizer is. Just point me to the bay.
The Veleran engineers stiffened. No outsider had ever seen those schematics. Thara's cranial ridges flushed a darker blue.
You have no idea how complex our systems are. Without proper induction, you could cause a cascading failure.
Lady, I could probably tell you the torque specs on your own bypass valves, but there's no time for arguing.
He walked past them, navigating the corridor with the ease of someone who had walked 1,000 alien halls. The engine bay loomed ahead, a cathedral of dead crystalline conduits. Anthony paused at the threshold, taking it in.
Let him proceed. If he damages anything, it only proves they sent a fool. If he runs, we have our excuse.
Anthony stepped inside. High above on the catwalks, Veleran officers clustered, staring down at the lone human with cold disdain. Without ceremony, Anthony knelt by the dead engine, unlatched an access panel, and pulled out a crystalline module.
He is dismantling the primary power manifold. Stop him. He will breach the containment crystal.
He ignored her. His hands moved with economy, disconnecting and reconnecting alien circuitry as if following a familiar rhythm.
That component is not even in our manual. How does he know it is the root fault? Admiral, I must intervene. This human is dismantling the engine without proper authorization. He will make it worse.
No, Chief Engineer. Let him work. If he fails, he is our scapegoat. If he succeeds, we are saved. Either way, we gain.
Hours passed. The Veleran officers watched in resentful silence as the humans steadily rebuilt their most guarded technology. Then the Star Core let out a low hum. A thin strand of cyan light spiraled up the nearest conduit. Then another.
Impossible. That is not a diagnostic flicker. That is a synchronized pulse.
The fleet had been dead for 9 days. Now, for the first time, A heartbeat of light thrummed through the flagship's veins. For 6 hours and 17 minutes, Anthony gutted secondary systems, cannibalized components, and rewired the stabilizer by memory alone. He closed the final panel, stepped back, and crossed his arms. For one terrible second, nothing happened. Then the star core ignited, cyan light roaring through the conduits like a resurrected beast. Outside, the flagship's dark engines blazed to life, cyan thrusters pushing against the void.
Admiral, engine output is at 100%. All systems nominal. The flagship is operational.
100%. From a single Terran who had never seen our engines before today.
This is not a repair. This is an exorcism. He rebuilt the heart better than it was.
Anthony took a long sip of his coffee, then began packing his tools without a word.
Master Chief, the Velaron 6th owes you its existence. How can we possibly repay this?
You can let me finish the job. There are 11 more ships dying out there. I am not done yet.
He didn't wait for a reply. Hefting his toolkit, he walked from the flagship's engine bay toward the docking tube.
Master Chief, I must document your method. This knowledge could revolutionize our engineering doctrine.
Not now. I'll send you the notes later.
The second ship's engine bay was identical, but Anthony moved faster. Components came apart, and together with practiced certainty, 5 hours. The second ship's engines rumbled online. The third ship took even less time. Thara stopped asking questions, and simply watched, clutching her datapad.
He is not learning. He is executing a protocol he has done 100 times.
By the time the third ship's engine core flared to life, the Velaran crew no longer celebrated. They just stared. 3 ships operational, 9 still adrift. Anthony wiped his brow and cracked open his thermos again.
Easier once you've got the rhythm. Let's keep moving.
In the Admiral's private ready room, Kalen summoned Chief Engineer Thara. Gratitude had curdled into something colder.
Admiral, that human dismantled our most classified component without a manual. He knew the failure point before I did.
He claimed to have studied our schematics. No Terran should possess those files. How did he obtain them?
And he works without hesitation. No diagnostics, no checks. Our finest engineers would need a full day just to map the error.
This is not mastery. This is infiltration. He has been trained on our systems specifically.
Kalen's fingers drummed the desk. Then he opened a secure channel.
Intelligence Officer Saren, I need a priority background sweep on the Terran Fleet Engineering Corps. Every detail, now.
If this is a reconnaissance probe, the entire battle group is compromised. We invited the enemy in.
In the dark intelligence office, Saren began pulling classified Terran files, unknowing what she would soon unearth. Meanwhile, Anthony moved to the 4th ship, unaware that his every action was now feeding a growing dread. Saren had finally breached a low-level Terran military file. The findings made her blood run cold.
Admiral, the Terran Fleet Engineering Corps has an acceptance rate of 0.03%, lower than our special operations. The file mentions a foreign design reverse engineering certification, but the details are heavily redacted.
So they train their mechanics to understand alien technology better than our own engineers.
It appears so. However, I find no combat training references. This is purely technical expertise.
Technical expertise alone is a weapon. A man who can rebuild a warship can just as easily render it harmless. Continue digging. In the meantime, I want a subtle watch on Reeves. He does not leave this fleet unsupervised.
On a separate monitor, Saren pulled up Anthony Reeves' sparse personnel file. His record was frustratingly bare, and on the 4th ship, Anthony worked through the night, unaware that he had already been branded a threat.
To the Admiral, the human was no longer a savior. He was a weapon, and they had let him into their heart.
While Anthony worked on the 7th ship, the Velaran comm station flagged an unencrypted Terran Navy bulletin.
Admiral, this transmission mentions Reeves directly. It appears to be a routine acknowledgement from Terran Command.
Kalen ordered it displayed. The text scrolled across the main screen in cold Terran script. Master Chief Reeves, Congratulations on your 47th confirmed alien engine rebuild. TFEC expects 50 by year's end.
47. Not including today's. How many other species' engines has he rebuilt?
He summoned Thara and Saren on a secured channel, sharing the message without a word.
Explain this.
He has rebuilt 47 different alien star core designs. Our design is just one entry in a long list.
This confirms the earlier file. Reverse engineering certification. They are not spies, they are the galaxy's emergency response team.
If one Terran can do this, how many more are there? The balance of power just shifted.
Admiral Kalen left the ready room and strode to the 7th ship's engine bay. No guards, no aides, just the weight of a single question.
Master Chief Reeves, you have rebuilt 47 alien engine designs. What exactly is the Terran Fleet Engineering Corps?
Anthony kept his eyes on a sub-manifold, tightening a bolt with 2 precise turns.
We're the people who fix things. The galaxy keeps breaking them, and we keep fixing them.
That doesn't explain how you know our engines better than our own chief engineers.
Your star core is number 47. I've seen a lot of broken hearts. Yours isn't special. I'll finish the fleet in 9 more hours.
He returned to the engine. Kalen stood motionless.
He is not boasting. He is stating a timetable. 47 engines, and we are just another line item.
The Admiral did not give an order. There was nothing to order. He simply turned and left the bay. Behind him, the human mechanic kept working. The 7th ship's engine coughed, flared, and came alive. The remaining 5 ships fell to Anthony's rhythm. In swift succession, their Star Core engines roared to life. Hour 38. All 12 ships glowed at once. The Velaran 6th was a constellation of cyan fire. No cheers erupted on the bridge. Kalen stared at the board. All green, and felt something far heavier than victory. Thara's datapad chimed. The repair notes arrived. She opened them with trembling hands, and a lifetime of engineering shifted beneath her. Anthony packed his tools with the same unhurried rhythm he had used on the engines. No wasted motion, no grand gesture.
Master Chief, a fleet ceremony has been arranged. It is tradition to honor those who save us.
Skip the ceremony. Next time, don't wait 9 days to call us. That's payment enough.
He snapped the toolbox shut and walked off the Velaran ship, disappearing through the same airlock he had entered a day ago. The Olivia detached, a tiny white speck against the massive warships. She turned toward the void and was gone. Kalen watched until the Terran ship faded into the starfield. The taste of salvation was bitter steel in his throat. The Velaran 6th docked. No homecoming fanfare, no medals. Admiral Kalen was pulled straight into a closed government inquiry. The chamber was high-ceilinged and cold. A semicircle of stern officials faced him, their silence a demand.
One human, Master Chief Anthony Reeves, repaired our entire battle group in 38 hours. Every ship combat ready. He rebuilt our Star Core stabilizers using cannibalized parts. No manuals, no diagnostics. He simply knew the fault. We intercepted a Terran commendation. This was his 47th alien engine rebuild, including Krenvax, Dominion, and now ours.
Murmurs erupted, then died. The silence that followed was absolute.
He is not a spy. He is a walking strategic capability. If one Terran can fix it, he can just as easily disable it.
The inquiry recorder paused. For a full minute, no one dared to ask the next question.
They understand now. The balance of power has shifted while we weren't looking.
Outside, the 12 ships hummed quietly at the docks, their engines still warm from a Terran's touch. The head of the inquiry nodded sharply. Intelligence Officer Saren was called forward, carrying a classified datapad.
This is the final dossier on the Terran Fleet Engineering Corps. What follows redefines our understanding of Earth's military. Becoming a Master Chief requires an 11-year certification. Their acceptance rate, 0.03% is lower than our elite commandos. For 50 years, Earth has quietly trained personnel to rebuild any foreign engine design on first encounter. Not through espionage, through deliberate reverse engineering parity, the strategic conclusion is unavoidable. A single Master Chief can board, operate, and, if required, disable any warship we possess.
The board members leaned back as one, the weight of 50 years of silent preparation crashing down on them.
This is not a maintenance corps. It is the most heavily specialized military discipline in the Terran service, and it has been perfected in secret.
She closed the dossier. The silence that followed was no longer stunned. It was fearful. The question no longer was what had happened. Now, it was what to do about a power they had never accounted for. A senior militarist official broke the silence. His fist slammed the polished desk. He demanded a preemptive strike. Wipe out their engineering corps before they could turn it on us.
Strike? What exactly? Their fleet is small, but their knowledge is viral. One engineer on one ship can neutralize a battle group.
She let the implications spread through the chamber. We would be fighting ghosts.
They do not want war. They simply want to be left alone. But if provoked, they will defend themselves, absolutely. The Korvax and the Dominion learned that the hard way.
The militarist sank back into his chair. No one else moved to argue. The realization seeped through the room. This was not a military problem with a military solution.
The only viable strategy is non-aggression. We cannot fight what we cannot find, and we cannot stop what we do not understand.
The head of the inquiry called a recess, but every mind in the room was already leaning the same way. The recess ended in silence. When the head of the inquiry rose again, his voice was carved from stone. He held a datapad containing the recommendation. Every board member stared, not at him, but at the words. It is the unanimous recommendation that the Velaran Republic adopt non-aggression toward the Terran Confederacy. Further, we shall formally thank them and seek peaceful relations. We cannot afford an enemy who understands our machinery better than we do. He set the datapad down. The chamber did not erupt. It simply absorbed the sentence like a wound. No objection was raised. Not a single voice tried to dissent. The gavel struck once. For the first time in its history, the proud Velaran government had counseled peace, not out of strength, but out of fear. Kalen looked away. Saren began filing her notes. The militarist remained slumped in his chair. The recommendation would become law. The Velaran Republic would not provoke a war it could not win. The decision was made. The only thing left was to live with the aftershock. In a cubicle at Terran Fleet Engineering Corps headquarters, Anthony Reeves opened a blank expense form on his tablet.
Parts requisitioned for Velaran Star Core stabilization, 1,200 credits. No major tool losses.
He typed the entry with the same steady rhythm he used on alien engines. Unhurried, precise, utterly unremarkable. He submitted the report. An hour later, a standard performance bonus notification pinged onto his screen.
1,500. Same as the Krenvax job. Maybe I'll finally get that new torque wrench.
He shut down the terminal, grabbed his jacket, and drove home through the evening rain. Marcus opened the apartment door before he could reach for his keys. They didn't speak, they just held each other.
You are back. My newsfeed is full of Velaran rumors. Something about a human mechanic who rebuilt their whole fleet.
Probably talk. I just clocked in, fixed some engines, clocked out.
They ate dinner in comfortable silence. Outside the window, a full moon rose over the city, unmoved by the day's galactic shifts.
I wasn't joking earlier. Look, this Velaran news syndicate has your name. Anthony Reeves, the man who rebuilt a fleet.
They got my name, huh? Must have leaked from the Naval Bulletin.
Leaked? The Velaran government just issued a non-aggression statement thanking a Terran engineering Master Chief. They're calling you a legend.
47th engine rebuild. Same as the 46th, just different crystals. It's not legendary, just repetition.
The entire Velaran High Command disagrees. They held an emergency inquiry because of what you did.
Legends don't get 1,500 credit bonuses, and a reminder to submit their expense reports on time. I am just a mechanic.
He genuinely believes that. The galaxy sees a savior. He sees a checklist.
They finished dessert. Anthony washed the dishes, then kissed Marcus on the forehead and went to his home office. In his study, surrounded by miniatures of Krenvax cruisers and Dominion battleships, he saw another notification on his tablet. The story had spread to 6 galactic networks. He swiped the notification away, opened a maintenance manual for the Nidari Star Corps, and got back to work. On the TFEC training campus, a new class of recruits filed silently into a stark lecture hall. At the front stood Senior Chief Instructor Patel, her gray uniform crisp, her eyes sharp.
Behind me are the engine designs rebuilt by Master Chief Reeves. 47 species, including the Velaran. Some of you will surpass that record. That is your charge. Remember, war is a failure of engineering. Our victories are the wars that never happen. You will train for 11 years. Then any engine will yield to you. That is your burden.
A recruit in the front row raised a hand. Patel inclined her head.
The question? We do not fight, candidate. We ensure no fight is necessary.
The hall fell silent, the weight of their future pressing down like a ship's hull. On the wall, the TFEC motto glowed etched in light. Admiral Kalen, now retired, sat on a stone balcony overlooking the spired city of his homeworld.
Years ago, I would have seen that distant star as a target. Now, I simply see the light.
A holographic news banner flickered to life beside him, announcing the ratified Velaran-Terra non-aggression pact.
They included the Terran emblem. Of course they did.
He raised his glass toward the sky. The amber liquid caught the last rays of the setting sun.
To the mechanic who saved my crew and taught us humility.
He drank. The news feed scrolled on, already moving to other stories, but Kalen kept his eyes on the darkening horizon. Above him, a Terran patrol ship streaked silently across the sky, its running lights blinking a peaceful green.
A species that fixes your ships better than you can. The galaxy will never be the same.
The old admiral leaned back, closed his eyes, and let the night come. On a Velaran colony world, a dockside observation platform overlooked the berthing bay where a Terran repair ship hummed softly. A Velaran child tugged at her parent's sleeve, her wide black eyes fixed on the Terran vessel. She asked the question every child on that world would eventually ask: why do the humans help us? Her parent knelt down, glancing at the ship. Because they can fix anything. And they taught us that sometimes the greatest strength is knowing when not to fight. The child looked back at the Terran vessel, then raised her small hand and waved. For a moment, the ship's running lights blinked in sequence, a simple acknowledgement all across the plaza. Velaran children played with toy Terran repair ships, mimicking the humans' quiet professionalism. The games were different now. They were games of rebuilding, not war. High above the planet, the Terran repair fleet stood watch, not as conquerors, but as the silent promise of mended things. And in the berthing bay, the Terran ship finished its repairs, its crew of engineers already preparing for the next call. In the same lecture hall where Patel once spoke, an older Anthony Reeves now stood before a fresh group of recruits. His voice was quieter now, but it still carried the weight of 50-plus engines.
First time I went up, it was a Krenvax cruiser. They laughed at me. I fixed it in 4 hours. They stopped laughing.
He flicked the hologram to show the Hall of Records, a roll of names and engine designs far longer than before.
Your name will be up there someday. Make sure it's there because you built bridges, not because you burned them.
He lowered the pointer. The recruits sat in thoughtful silence. Later, in the training hangar, an older Anthony watched a student trace the same crystalline pathways he had once rebuilt blind. He offered no correction, just a nod of quiet approval. The mechanic who had once rebuilt a fleet now built the next generation, one silent lesson at a time. In the TFEC Memorial Hall, A bronze plaque bore the Corps' motto, freshly polished by morning light. Below the motto, a list of engine designs stretched to 55 entries, each engraved with care. A young recruit knelt before the plaque, adding the newest entry, the 55th engine design rebuilt. The engraving tool hummed to a stop. The 55th designation gleamed in the silent hull. Above the list, the motto stood in eternal brass. We do not fight. We ensure no fight is necessary. Decades of quiet, unwavering commitment compressed into a single wall of names. At the edge of Terran space, a border outpost nestled against the stars, a repair tender detached from the station. Its crew already briefed for the next unknown. A Velaran patrol vessel drifted past, in peaceful formation, a silent testament to the changed galaxy. The work never ended. The galaxy kept breaking, and Earth kept fixing.